Hi. So I feel really badly when it comes to the holidays, and I hear a lot of sadness from different people. You remember the last holiday, you were with the narcissist, you don't know how you're going to get through this holiday, comparing it to the last time, and you were happy at one time. There can be a lot of feelings that come up when it's a holiday. And having just come off the past holiday weekend, it was Easter for some of you, it was Passover for some of you. I have I have I have friends, and some of us are going through the same kinds of things, and it can come up that holidays can make people very sad, especially if they're going through a breakup or having been through a relationship like this. Doesn't even have to be with a narcissist. You just get really sad because it's a year, right? So a year ago from this past holiday weekend was Corona. So you might have all found yourself in Easter, Passover 2020 in a completely different place than you are now. That alone should give us all strength, because here it is a year later and we're all still kicking and still going. And 2020 wasn't an easy year for anybody under any circumstances. I have 7 things that I've done. I did most of them myself over the Easter break, except volunteer. I haven't gone to a soup kitchen recently, but that's on the list, which I'll get to in a second. But rather than, because it is easy to spend the whole time completely consumed thinking about your narcissist, or again, your ex. This isn't necessarily just narcissism if you're going through a breakup. But it's very easy. You just think of last year and where were we and what did we do. And this video won't be released in time for Easter of this year, but you can use this maybe for your next set of holidays or whatever, and just keep these things in mind. They helped me tremendously get through the holiday weekend gloriously. I had family in town, and okay. So number 1, I started out my Easter, I made calls. I made calls. I got a couple of uncles. I got an aunt. They live up in Rhode Island. I made some phone calls. And I'll tell you something. When you get people on the phone that love you and you're expressing love to them, you cannot come away from that hour or however long it takes you to make those calls feeling anything but better. You can't. You can't. You're laughing. You're nostalgic. You're seeing family you've known your whole life. That trumps any narcissist or any relationship, because you've known them your whole life. Call a family member. Reminisce about your own old days, not connected to the narcissist, your own old days. So I'm on the phone with my aunt talking about how Palm Sunday we used to exchange palms. All growing up, I went to her house. Where's the chocolate cream pie? These emotions that brought me there and brought me in it with them and my aunts, it was a wonderful recharging hour, right? That's number 1. Make some calls. Number 2 things that is, you could spend time with family or friends. Now you might say, well, I don't have anybody around me. I'm in the Air Force. Nobody's around. Somebody's around. And if not, FaceTime somebody. Let yourself sit on somebody else's table for 3 hours. This is 2021. You could be anywhere you want in 5 seconds. I'm not even kidding. There's no reason to sit alone and be sad. And you, sometimes we want to wallow in it, right? No, I just want to sit here and pig out and be sad. No, and no. No, take that action out. Do not. Sounds good. Sounds like a bad movie. Sounds good. You're just going to sit there and eat Doritos and cry and watch. No, Spend time with family and friends. Make yourself say yes if you're invited somewhere. Make yourself go somewhere. Do not just sit home. The other thing, number 3, that helps me on holidays always, is watch holiday movies. Funny ones, if you can. Unless, of course, it's 10 Commandments or It's a Wonderful Life. Those aren't necessarily comedies, but those are always allowed. So, holiday movies, to me, there are so many that bring you joy. For every single holiday, there are 1,000 movies made. They can occupy your mind, make you feel happiness and joy, make you laugh, and distract you from thinking about the last holiday where you may have been with your narcissist or your ex or whatever. Okay? So that's number 3. Number 4, stare in the mirror and tell yourself you're fabulous. And I'm not even kidding. I sit right up on my counter. Right up on the counter. Get right up there. Now I'm little. Maybe you can't fit on your counter. Maybe you're a big, huge, 6 feet tall person. I'm a little person. I get right on the counter. I sit crisscross applesauce and I say, you know what, Renee? You're a wonderful person. You have a big heart. You do things right. I know I do things right because I wouldn't have a blessed life otherwise, because he knows I do things right. I know in my heart what kind of a person I'm leading, a good life. I remind myself of those things. I'm grateful for the health and happiness of everyone that I love. And if you sit there in the mirror and you look at yourself and you tell yourself the good things about you, you're strong, you're this, you're that. There are things about you that are gloriously wonderful. Remind yourself of those things. Those aren't gone. Those aren't gone. You are the same exact person. The fabric of us changes post-narcissist, but you're the same person. And if you feel weak or downtrodden or I'm just sad, Renee, I'm sorry. I can't help think of last year and we were quarantined and, because I have friends going through some things too. And I get it. And I'm in it. Last year was different than it is than right now for me. Remind yourself that you're fabulous. Remind yourself. Number 5, I mentioned earlier, volunteer at a soup kitchen. If you absolutely have nowhere to be and you have no friends or family around you, you don't feel like being FaceTimed on somebody's kitchen table for 3 hours, go volunteer. And I've said this before and I will say it again. It is impossible not to feel recharged and better once you volunteer. Homeless shelter, soup kitchen, your church. There are volunteer opportunities all around where you live. And if you volunteer and you're helping those less fortunate and you're paying them kindness and you're wishing them a good holiday and you're filling their day with food and care and nurturing, impossible not to feel better. Impossible. 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 Number 6, and this is hard for me, but because I'm restless. Number 6, meditate. Now you might say to yourself, oh my God, Renee, that's really some hokey stuff. I can't meditate. I'll be honest with you, and I've been trying to meditate for 30 years. It's a practice I do, but I can't do. You follow what I'm saying? It's taken me a long time to learn to concentrate. It's very hard to sit in one spot, listen to the fountain, listen to whatever you need to do, just your breathing you're supposed to listen to, blah, 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 blah. There's all kinds of techniques. I don't care if you have to put on rock and roll or country, whatever you listen to, and just sit and try not to move for 20 minutes. It will recharge you. Now, it's very hard. 20 minutes is a long time. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. It's hard for me because I'm fidgety. My mind races. If you ever were inside this head for 24 hours, you'd run right back out. Never stops. When you sit and recharge, it really does help to face the day and face what you have ahead of you. I have found that it really does help. As hard as it is for me to focus, I make myself sit there. So even if it's not helping, my mind's just going, just sit. You might get to the 7th minute, the 8th minute. You might only make it 3 minutes. Try it. It's extremely rewarding when you do manage to sit there. Number 7, and this is up to you whether or not, I pray. Now, some of you might not be religious. Then you know what? Talk about it out loud and get it out of you. Release it. I talk all the time to God. I pray for perseverance, strength, guidance, and courage. All the time for years. Because no matter what's going on in your life, you need those 4 things. So I always ask for that. Always. Guide me. Give me strength and courage to carry out what you're guiding me to do. Give me the perseverance to stick with what I'm carrying out. If you don't pray, I'm not telling anyone they need to pray. Talk about it out loud. Say, you know what? This is what happened. Release it out of you. There are things you can do. Do not sit around on holidays moping, please. And absolutely smile. There is no reason for you to be that downtrodden over another human being. Do not let them take your joy. Do not let them take any kind of day from you, let alone a holiday, but any day. Any day. These are your days. This is your time. These are your hours. These are your minutes passing by. They're yours. Take them back. Take the power back. So whichever holiday you're watching this and whatever the next one is that comes along for you, birthday, hot, whatever, please try to snap yourself out of just worrying about what they're doing. And if they're having a good no! Just go on and try to live your own life and have your own wonderful holiday. So whatever this falls on, happy everything.